Good morning again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. And very obviously, we've got another update within days of the other article that we just read. This came out November the 24th, 2025, that we missed while going over the comments from the new proposed ban from the FDA. But before we get into it, real quick disclaimers. If you're unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, all pertinent links are available for you right there in the description box. Should you like to do a deep dive on your own, you're definitely able to do so. Trigger warning, this channel is marked not for kids for a reason. First of all, I do use profanity. And when we cover places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips or surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. So, if you have a child that is 16 and younger and they are watching this, parental supervision is very much advised. So, I pulled this up specifically because now, finally, after all these years, we're not just getting into the GED. We're getting into all of the horrific practices of this school. We've got former students that are coming forward even more frequently than they already were. So, let's go ahead and get into it. And of course, I'm going to link this in the description box as well once we're finished up here. So, let's go ahead and get started. Former students say Canton facilities' electric shocks aren't all they endured. Alright, electric shocks were only the beginning. On Tuesday, a former student told lawmakers the abuse at the Canton facility runs far deeper, with an advocate sharing similar accounts from others, including claims of sexual abuse. We've actually gone over that. Remember, in regards to the direct care staff, the teacher that was getting real inappropriate with one of the male students to the point that they were sending them each other sexting messages, sexting pictures. The boy was 15 years old, if I remember things correctly. It's been a minute. But let's go ahead and continue, shall we? The Judge Rotenberg Center, a special needs day and residential facility in Canton, is known across the country for using electric shock devices, which are attached to residents at all times on people demonstrating self-injurious or aggressive behavior. You can't beat yourself, but we're going to beat you instead. That's what that is. Okay? If it sounds irrational, that's because it is. It is the only facility in the country to use them and has been at the center of many advocates' concerns for decades. Not mine! The whole place has got to go. The JRC said the device is life-saving and that it is important it remains available to those for whom all other treatment options have been tried and failed. If it is going to be life-saving for me to have that torture device on me that can be used without my consent at any time, just put a fucking bullet between my eyes and let's call it good. Okay? If I have to, in order to save my life and go into becoming an elderly one day, because I have a torture device attached to me 24/7 that I have no control over, we're going to say that's life-saving? Put a bullet between my eyes. Let's just spare everybody. Just saying. The JRC and the JRC Parents Association wrote in a statement after a 2023 court ruling that allowed devices to continue to be used. Actually, folks, that decision was reversed not in 2023, but in 2021. In 2023, the FDA began its revision of the current newly proposed ban. So, gotta make a few corrections here. Since, everybody has, forgotten that spell check exists. Grammar is not a suggestion when you are a professional journalist. We don't get to decide on our own facts, people. I know that, society's trying to tell you different your truths. No, there is no your truth. There is the truth. And there is lies. And that's it. Okay? Done. Tired. Way beyond tired. The facility has said that its clients have had bad behaviors that result in profound physical injuries, including blindness and mutilation. Well, considering you shock people for standing up longer than 3 seconds without permission, I'm sorry if I just can't take their word at face value, particularly from an organization that is known to play fast and loose with evidence required, even if it's required by a judge in discovery. Just putting it out there. The facility has said its clients have had behaviors that result blah blah blah. They have also injured family members and loved ones. So have neurotypical kids. You signing them up for that? You know how many kids get into drugs and rob their parents in order to get money for more drugs? How about all the kids who've gotten violent with their parents due to extreme alcoholism? But no, it's just us. We, the autistic people, are somehow the problem. How about life is the problem? Especially these days. Maybe being in a world that's not built for us might be a little fucking frustrating. No, it can't be that. Surely it's all your fault, Tiff. And you wonder why I have a gigantic chip on my shoulder the size of the state of Texas. One parent told New York Times the device gave her back her beautiful son, Anthony Green, who is 24. It gave me back the version of my son that I wanted because the only thing matters is me. Sorry, but that's all I see every time I see that. And he smiles and all again. Do these parents care whether the smile is real or not, as long as they get outwardly what they want to see? I would truly like to know the answer to that question someday. Truly. What makes these people feel like they are entitled to us being forced to pretend? That we are forced to conform to their idea of what neurotypicality is. Just putting it out there. Under the care of the GRC's highly specialized medical team. You mean among the individuals or direct care staff who are literally trained only for a week before they are allowed out on the floor to interact with students? That well-trained medical team? Seriously? And yeah, I'm not even going to read that paragraph because it's the same talking points that I have debunked so many times, and I'm just tattooed permanently inside my eyelids. So no. Let's continue, shall we? There are more than 300 people who attend or live at JRC, and 54 people are approved for the devices. There shouldn't be a single one, and if I hear, but it's just a small group one more time, somebody's going to catch hands. Just say. Tuesday's Joint Committee on Children, Families, and Persons with Disabilities hearing had many people speaking out against Bill H-240 and in support of Bill H-245. The first bill would require rules and regulations for the training, certification, and licensing of individuals to administer or cause to be administered a procedure using the shock devices, also known as the GED. A license does not remove third-degree burns. A license doesn't suddenly make torture not torture. Like, what are we not getting here? Sincerely, what are we not understanding? What are we not understanding? You shouldn't torture disabled people because they're disabled people, behaving in a way that makes you embarrassed. Okay? But the second bill would ban the use of adversive therapy, including kitting, pinching, and electric shock for the purposes of changing the behavior of the person. It would also ban the ability to deny a person with a physical, intellectual, or developmental disability reasonable sleep, food, shelter, bedding, bathroom facilities, and any other aspect expected of a humane existence. And the second bill is the one that is coherent and lodged in reality. Okay? The fact it says remove all adversives. So that doesn't mean replacing them with the spatula, their version of waterboarding, or any of that. It means all of it ceases. All of it. The food contingency programs, all the things we have covered on this channel that are absolutely horrifying. The bizarre behavioral rehearsal lessons. It means literally all of it, all of it, all of it. Finally. Let me continue here. However, advocates fear the first bill will not stop or improve the situation at JRC, as these devices are already required to be approved through the court system. It's not just that. It's a license does not remove what the device is designed to do. Okay? It's like saying I have licensure for waterboarding at Gitmo, which means I'm no longer torturing someone. That is the logic that that first law would have us dealing with here. Well, yes, I know I was waterboarding people who are suspected terrorists at Gitmo, but you see here, I have a license for waterboarding, so it wasn't really torture. During the Bush era, about how far do you think that argument would have gone? Real talk. Real talk here. Let's go ahead and continue. We're probably going to split this into a few videos here just because it looks like it's a little bit of a longer article we're going over. So, let's go ahead and continue here. Despite years of trying, multiple bills have not passed before. Of course, we've already gone over the DCF Sends Kids to Controversial Massachusetts facility. We've gone over that. In 2023, Jennifer Masumba told the same committee how she regularly wakes up screaming "no stop" after living at JRC from 2002 until 2009 and was on the shock devices for all 7 years. The same Jennifer Masumba who is a member of Mensa. That's not a joke. That's not me lying. She is a member of Mensa. Granted, it doesn't matter whether she was or not. She is a human being who doesn't deserve to be tortured and punished for being born autistic. But this goes against this whole narrative that the JRC has, that all of these kids are out of control. You know. Masumba, who's on the autism spectrum, said she came to JRC with these very strong self-harm behaviors, including putting her head through windows, she told the committee. While her behaviors stopped while she was on her device, her behaviors weren't fixed. Exactly. They were just manifested differently, into explosions. I would hold it in and then all of a sudden explode. That is a problem that I have. I will often let something build and build and build and build, because just like Jennifer Masumba, within the medical model, we're taught to hold that down, hold it down, hold it down. Guess what? Just like a neurotypical, when they hold down too much rage until it explodes, we autistics are human beings and we experience the same things in different ways. So, she now lives at a different placement where she has helped her. But when she arrived, she went back to her own self-harming behaviors. also known as going back to your factory default settings. Instead of hurting me, they helped figure out why these things were happening and took time to do so. What did I tell you guys? Real therapy, real help, it's not an instant fix it. It takes time. It takes work. Nothing worthwhile is ever going to be actually fixed immediately. Don't believe me? Just look at life overall. Or my favorite line, pick up a history book sometime. In 2021, Masamba released a book called Shouting at Leaves regarding her time at the center. She also shares some of her story on TikTok, who has performed at Fenway Park, is a filmmaker, and is a part of American Mensa. See? Which requires scoring in the top 2% of the general population on an accepted standardized intelligence test. 2%. Top 2%. Think about that. They didn't even think I could read, Masamba said on Tuesday, recalling her time at the JRC. And that's actually something that is rampant within the medical model. I remember distinctly because I was there as the advocacy specialist, and I was going to a meeting over at the borough office where I actually have my current appointments for my own doctor. And because we all work very tightly together, right? So, God, I lost my train of thought, sorry. But you get where I'm going, right? I hope you do, because I just completely lost my train of thought. Anyways, so she's in the top 2% in regards to intelligence nationwide. Nationwide. And wouldn't you know it, proper therapy done over time does a lot more to help with the not so fun parts of our diagnosis, as well as the trauma compiled on top that is induced in being in a society not built for us, but we know it works. We have the numbers. I'm more than happy to pull them up again if anybody needs it. But for right now, we're going to go again and close out. More than likely, this is going to be a 3-part series. So, we're going to go again and close out here. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few we do get do tend to get removed from time to time. Please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe. Don't forget to go ahead and get the comments, and make sure that you are still set up currently for notifications. We are going to be continuing with Down the Rabbit Hole and the Snake Oil Salesman series. We definitely don't want you guys missing anything. I very much do appreciate your time, and as always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea absolutely do hope you have a good one. I'll be seeing you all next time. Bye-bye, everyone.